Political dreams collapsed. Meghan made deal with devil selling Sussex title for post-royal fame. Meghan Markle would have to renounce her UK titles if she wanted to run for political office in the United States, a constitutional expert has said. The U.S. Constitution specifies that people holding U.S. office may not accept foreign titles unless they have congressional approval. But Harvard professor Mark Tushnet says that the likelihood of their approval is very slim. He said, "I don't think it's ever happened before. I think the chances of Congress allowing her to retain her titles would be very slim." But he added, technically, she could run without renouncing her titles and could even serve if elected if Congress approved. However, he said that retaining the titles would be politically damaging. Professor Tushnet continued, as a practical matter, though, she'd have to renounce her titles to run. Politically it would be quite damaging, I think, for her to retain the titles. Opponents will seize on anything, and this will be a hook to say, well, she's not really a true American. The policy is specified in Section 9 of the U.S. Constitution. Professor Tushnet said it arises from concern about the influence that foreign governments would have on U.S. policy. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were allowed to keep their titles after they stepped back from royal duties and moved to California at the start of last year. But, according to Professor Tushnet, the Duchess would still retain her celebrity status even without the titles. He said, having been a royal, the celebrity status would still attach, whether she has a formal title or not. U.S. politics professor Richard Johnson told Express.co.uk that the Duchess' celebrity status would help her bypass the normal routes into politics. He said, "I think Americans take a very keen interest in British royalty, and there is a lot of attention from the U.S. public whenever there are stories relating to the royal family. There is some record of celebrity politicians doing pretty well in the U.S. Obviously, Meghan and Harry are based in California, and California has produced Ronald Reagan, who was an actor, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an actor. This comes amid increasing speculation about whether or not the 40-year-old royal may run for U.S. office in the future, after she penned an overtly political letter to Congress, lobbying them for paid leave. However, defending her decision to engage with the issue, Meghan described it as humanitarian, rather than political. This evening, Meghan Markle will sit down with Ellen DeGeneres for yet another highly publicized TV appearance. Because of the vitriol and backlash she received after her bombshell Oprah Winfrey interview in March, many will be wondering why exactly Meghan is placing herself back in the spotlight. But Meghan seems immune to the public responses that she gets. She can do no right in the public's mind, so I feel for her. She's in a complete predicament. But I don't think she cares about criticism. It's clear to me that she's felt savaged and misunderstood by the media here in the UK. But rather than living her life as a private citizen, she and Prince Harry feel as though they must set their own narrative. Meghan wants to be someone who's in control of her own image as much as possible, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is a trauma response to events that happened in her childhood. People who want to be in control want it because they don't feel safe. Those who are really sure about who they are inside don't need external control, they have inner resilience, they trust themselves. And she doesn't. That comes down to how you're raised. Security as a child is about feeling loved and adored and heard. That's how we feel safe. So for Meghan, her way of feeling safe is to be in control. People who are controlling aren't necessarily very pleasant, they're not particularly empathetic or kind themselves. It's a survival strategy, but it gets misread all the time. Control of the narrative is what Meghan's father takes away from her all the time, because he's got his narrative, and to be frank, he's a complete monster. Anyone who professes to love you wouldn't damn you and undermine you, like her dad and her half-sister. She's not lucky with her people.